For lesson 6, we are working with CSS box model and positioning. So you will be learning about the traditional box model and Flexbox, along with absolute and relative positioning. So it's basically taking CSS that we've already learned and applying it in different ways. So you're definitely going to want to go through the lecture demo because this whole concept of a box is something that you really need to understand. Okay, so it's a virtual box. And this section explains it. I do have links to live examples, interactive examples that you can practice with. We talk about how the boxes are aligned, how display properties can be used. We talk about containing or parent blocks. There's also child blocks. And then we get into the two different box models that we are going to be covering this week. And then basically features of each of those models, including different ways to position elements. And then we get into Flexbox. And that's pretty much what we're covering this week. There are tons of examples for you to look at. A lot of the examples I actually created. And so you can kind of see the difference in some of these commands. And so you basically need to read through this. When you see an interactive exercise, please go out and practice because it's just going to help you learn it better. At the very end, we do talk about CSS combinators. There is an exercise that you will be working with in the textbook assignment that is going to have you use a combinator. There is questions on the MTA exam about these. So make sure you're familiar with them and that you understand how they work. So I explain what they are, and I've got links so you can try it live. We also get into box, shadow, and border radius, which are actually part of CSS3, but since we're dealing with boxes, I thought we could apply them now because they look awesome and it's kind of fun to use them. So there is also an exercise in the textbook assignment where you're going to be applying these as well. So make sure you read through all of this first, and then you can work on your textbook assignment. And I do have videos for every single task. And there are files, graphics, and CSS for you to download. So you're basically going to be focusing on the CSS that you need to enter to create the traditional box model look. So you're going to be modifying a file. And then you'll be taking this file and saving it as a Flexbox and making the Flexbox modifications and so on. So by the time you're done, you'll have several different versions of the farm file. And then there's a little song snippet file that you'll also have. And every single task has videos that you can watch. So once you're done with that textbook assignment, you have it transferred. Please go into the Dropbox and enter done so that I know that it's ready for grading. For the lab assignment, you will be creating your own traditional box model page and your own Flexbox page. I did include a link to some design theory for those of you who want a little bit more information about how to lay out pages that look attractive. For the content of your traditional and Flexbox pages, it can be the same content, just kind of like how we did with the farm, where we did it as a traditional box and then we converted it into Flexbox. You can do the same thing here. In fact, the example that I have for you is the same page shown as a traditional box and then down here converted into a Flexbox. Okay, so you're going to be doing basically the same thing. And then you're going to be adding the links to your assignment page. So you're going to add the textbook assignment links and the lab assignment links. And then you're going to transfer everything to the web. Now, every once in a while, I get a student who wants to do different content in their traditional box, in their Flexbox, and that's perfectly fine. It's actually more work to do it that way. So in my classes, if you want to do more work, that's awesome. For those of you who don't have a lot of extra time, if you want to just take the same content and convert it over, that is okay too. Once you are done and you have it all transferred, you're going to enter the Dropbox and key in the word done. The Flexbox model has a lot of different properties, CSS properties for the parent container and for the child. And this little link here to Flexbox Froggie, it's basically a game that you can play that helps you learn the different Flexbox properties and values. And it's kind of fun. And I do encourage you guys to do this because it will help you learn Flexbox in a fun way. Okay, so that's optional, but it is fun, and I highly encourage that you do that. If you have any questions or problems, I will have a little discussion down here for this week for any kind of problems that you might encounter. You can certainly enter into the discussion, or you can just email me, either one. Have a great week, and let me know if you run into any issues.